There was a time when Hyun Bin and Sun Ye-jin seemed untouchable, the fairy tale couple that blurred the line between screen and reality. From their heart-stopping chemistry and crash landing on you to their quiet, elegant wedding that captured the attention of the world. They embodied the dream everyone wanted to believe in, two stars in love, grounded in grace, untouched by scandal. But lately, something feels different. What began as whispers in fan forums has now turned into collective unease spreading across social media, a growing worry that something between them has changed. The photographs that once appeared effortlessly radiant have stopped. Smiles that once seemed endless have faded from the public eye. For the first time since their marriage, the couple's silence feels louder than any spoken word. Hyun Bin, always the composed figure of charisma, has been busy promoting his new film. Traveling alone through Seoul's glittering chaos, he smiles for the cameras, answers every question, except one. When an interviewer gently mentions Sun Ye-jin's name, paused for a second too long before replying with a brief, polite smile, "She's doing well, thank you." It wasn't a wrong answer. But it wasn't the one fans expected either. Meanwhile, Sun Ye-jin has been working quietly on a project abroad. Her once lively social media, where she used to post glimpses of her daily life, has grown still. The last update, a serene photo of the sea. Hyun with a single line, "Some waves never return." Fans flooded the comments, asking if she was okay. She never replied. Then came the patterns, small, unconnected details that, together, began to feel significant. The couple, who once attended brand events side by side, have been appearing separately. The anniversary posts, once a tradition, were absent this year. Sun Ye-jin appeared in a recent interview. Her wedding ring was missing. Maybe she just forgot it. One fan wrote hopefully. Or maybe, another replied, "Some things are harder to wear than before." The unease deepened after an industry insider told a local magazine that both stars were focusing on individual careers. The statement was neutral, but the tone wasn't. It felt like an echo of every celebrity breakup that had ever begun the same way, polite words hiding unspoken truths. Even their agencies, known for swift responses to rumors, have gone quiet. When asked about the speculation, Hyun Bin's management simply said, "We don't comment on personal matters." Sun Ye-jin's representatives released a nearly identical line. It was professional, respectful, and cold. Online, the conversation grew restless. Fans started compiling timelines, screenshots, and side-by-side comparisons. That Sun Ye-jin had removed two older posts featuring Hyun Bin, one from their honeymoon and another from an awards night. Some believed it meant nothing. Others couldn't shake the feeling that it did. "I'm not saying they've broken up," wrote one user on a Korean entertainment forum. "Something about the energy has changed. You can feel it even in the photos." Rumor then surfaced that the couple had been living apart due to conflicting work schedules. While this isn't unusual for actors of their stature, fans were quick to point out that even during their busiest years, the two always found ways to publicly support each other, until now. At a luxury brand event in Seoul, Bin arrived alone. When a reporter asked you if Sun Ye-jin would join him later, he laughed softly and said, "She's busy with her own things these days." It was meant to sound casual, but the clip spread quickly. Fans dissected every word, every micro-expression, every blink. The comment section filled with theories. "He looks tired. Maybe they were just keeping things private." "Oh, something's definitely wrong." But perhaps the most unsettling sign wasn't something they said, it was what they didn't. For weeks, there have been no couple appearances, no updates. Not even a mention of each other on stage or online. For two people who had once spoken so fondly about love, their sudden quiet feels like a winter that came too soon. A longtime fan described it perfectly: "It's not a scandal. It's a silence, and that's what scares us most." Behind the calm surfaces of celebrity life, the smallest changes can ripple into storms of speculation. In an industry where image is everything, Hyun Bin and Sun Ye-jin have always chosen privacy over publicity. But in the absence of words, even simple distance becomes a mystery. Is it possible they are simply protecting their love, choosing to live quietly, away from flashing lights and headlines? Or is this the quiet before something breaks? No one knows for sure. Their friends remain discreet, their agencies firm in their silence. The fans, caught between hope and fear, wait, refreshing timelines. analyzing expressions, searching for meaning in every gesture. One line keeps appearing in fan comments: maybe they were just learning how to love in peace. It's possible. But as weeks turn into months, and the silence stretches longer, one question continues to echo through every corner of the internet, a whisper disguised as worry. What if the fairy tale isn't forever? For a while, it almost seemed like the silence had become part of the story itself, a fragile wall built between love and the world that refused to leave it alone. Days turned into weeks. What was once admiration began to twist into worry. Every pause, every unsaid word, became a clue that something deeper was unfolding beneath the surface. The fan communities that had celebrated their every moment together grew divided. Some remained patient, convinced that Hyun and Son Ye-jin were simply protecting their privacy. Deserve a life beyond our screens. One fan wrote on a Binjin forum. Maybe they've learned that true love doesn't need to perform. But others couldn't let go of the unease. Shots, interviews, and old clips resurfaced like ghosts, every glance reinterpreted. Gesture analyzed. One video from a past award ceremony went viral again, showing Hyun reaching for Son Ye-jin's hand during a brief commercial break. In that clip, their fingers barely brushed. But the moment had once sent fans into tears. Now, under new light, it seemed distant, almost prophetic. The speculation only grew when Son Ye-jin posted a cryptic message on her social media account one quiet Sunday evening: when you stop explaining yourself, peace finally begins. Or no photos, no hashtags, just those 10 words against a black background. Within minutes, her comment section exploded. Some took it as a quote about self-care, others were convinced it was a subtle message about a relationship. While Hyun appeared in an interview promoting his upcoming film, the host, trying to lighten the mood, mentioned how fans missed seeing him and Son Ye-jin together. His smile faltered for just a second before he replied, "We're both doing our best. In our own ways." It was harmless, polite, yet something about his tone lingered. The audience clapped. He looked down. A quiet sadness seemed to hang between them now, that neither could put into words. They had been Korea's dream couple, but dreams are fragile, and fame is heavier than it looks. Behind the curated images and polished interviews, people were trying to exist under a weight no one could see. An entertainment insider spoke anonymously to a digital outlet a few days later. "They're not fighting. It's just that marriage in this industry is harder than anyone thinks. Trying to protect their family. But that means stepping away from everything, even each other sometimes." That quote spread like wildfire, painting their silence in softer shades, not of bitterness, but of exhaustion. The same world that celebrated their love was now dissecting it piece by piece. Still, the questions wouldn't stop. Tabloids began printing speculative headlines. Are Hyun and Son Ye-jin living separate lives, or distance or devotion? Inside their quiet marriage, their agencies responded swiftly this time. Though their words offered little comfort, there is no problem between them. Please refrain from unnecessary speculation. But once the public's imagination awakens, it rarely goes back to sleep. In the following weeks, fans began to notice something unexpected. Film premiere in Busan. Hyun wore a silver bracelet identical to one Son Ye-jin had been seen wearing earlier that year. It was subtle, almost invisible unless you knew what to look for, but for fans who had memorized every detail of their love story, it meant everything. It shifted again. Where there had been anxiety, came fragile hope. Maybe this was their quiet way of speaking, a private gesture in a public world. One comment under the event photo read, "He doesn't need to post her. He wears her." Days later, Son Ye-jin was photographed leaving the airport after a schedule abroad. She smiled faintly when reporters shouted Hyunbin's name once before stepping into her car. That single moment, that smile, trended within hours. Perhaps it wasn't proof of anything. Perhaps it was everything. The truth, as always, lay somewhere in the silence. Behind closed doors, no one knew what conversations were being had, what promises were being kept, or what wounds were quietly healing. A love story born in the spotlight but built in the shadows, one that had always balanced on the thin line between devotion and disappearance. Fans continued to search for meaning. That's what love does, it clings to signs, symbols, to hope. Every ring, every glance, every half-smile became part of the ongoing narrative that refused to end. In a recent magazine feature, A close acquaintance of the couple was quoted saying, "Been through enough. They just want to live normally, to breathe, to be parents of each other without proving it." Those words lingered like the echo of something gentle and true. Maybe there were no strange signs after all, only two people choosing peace over publicity. Maybe love doesn't disappear when it goes quiet, maybe it just changes shape. And yet, somewhere deep in every fan's heart, that fear remains, not because they've seen the end, but because they haven't seen enough to be sure it isn't coming. As the headlines fade and the world moves on. Image indoors, Hyun and Son Ye-jin standing side by side, years ago. Their eyes locked as if the rest of the world didn't exist. That memory, frozen in golden light, reminds everyone why they believed in them in the first place. Perhaps that belief is what keeps their story alive. In posts or appearances. But in the quiet faith that even in silence, love still speaks.